Today I want to share with you why I feel texting, emailing, and DMing are a horrible way to communicate. Welcome to the Lash Biz Tip of the Week, where we help you get more clients and grow your business by improving your technique, upgrading your customer service, fine-tuning your business, and fixing your marketing. Over the 13 years that we ran our lash salon, one of the most important skills, if not the most important skill, one must learn to lead a team is how to communicate effectively. Knowing how to communicate is a soft skill that no one is born with. Some people are more talented, but we all need to learn how to be more effective communicators. It's a skill that must be developed. In my opinion, I feel some of the tools we use today actually hurt our ability to communicate well. It might be easier to even reach out to people now more or communicate information, but it's gotten more difficult, I feel, to connect and communicate deeply. I remember we were having an issue with a team member, and Tussie and I decided that I needed to talk to her. Lucky me. So what did I do? I texted her that we needed to talk. Now that kind of texting is okay. I think texting is great when it comes to scheduling, confirming something that's been agreed upon, or encouraging someone. My mistake in texting her is what happened next. She asked what I wanted to talk about, and so I decided to give her a quick summary. That's when everything fell apart. We texted back and forth, thinking that we were communicating, but we weren't. As a result of that text, we actually never met personally, and a few weeks later, she decided to leave our salon. That was on me. The problem with tools like DMs, texts, and emails, and it's easy to feel that the person doesn't care about you, or worse, that they're mad at you. That's what happened with this employee. I was frustrated with her, but I wasn't angry. She couldn't tell that from my texts. If we met in person, she would have seen that my body language and the tone of my voice was not angry. These extra visual and auditory signals would have helped her to better understand me. After this incident, I made it a policy in the salon that we would only use texting as a tool for scheduling, nothing else. If you had an issue with someone, you could use text to say we need to talk, and that was it. The conversation would have to happen in person to cut down the chances that there would be a communication breakdown. By the way, meeting in person doesn't guarantee you'll communicate well, but I do believe it betters your odds. We tend to be more gentle and respectful when we talk to someone face to face than when we email or DM them. Now, why do we use DMs, emails, and texts when we have conflicts with people? There are probably a bunch of reasons, but here are two of mine. First, we don't like conflict. Beauty professionals as a whole are people pleasers at heart, and we like to make people happy. What a shock. Having difficult conversations does not fly with our makeup. I think it's important to acknowledge that we tend to avoid conflict, but understand that it's necessary if we want to face and have a more healthy business. To be human is to have conflict. If we can learn how to work through this conflict in a healthy way with one-on-one communication, our businesses will run better. My second reason why we like these modern tools is that we're super busy and we're always looking for a way to work smarter, not harder. Overall, that's a good way to approach business, but relationships are too important to use shortcuts. When we use text to communicate important information, we're telling our friends or our teammate that they're not really important to you or that we don't have time for them. It's the worst message to send when you're trying to work through something very important. Recently in June, I had some discussions on Instagram with lash artists when I was part of a conference that initially had primarily a white speaker lineup. Their frustration and anger was legitimate, and when we started communicating via Instagram, it quickly went south. I was so disappointed that we were not communicating well. I was also super bummed that I had forgotten my own rule about DMs. So I messaged each lash artist and said I'd rather talk to them in person than continue to DM back and forth. Thankfully, many of the lash artists agreed to talk to me personally over the phone, and all of a sudden, we could really hear each other. We had a lot more in common than we originally thought. What I'm most proud of that moment is that I actually made a bunch of new friends. What started as a DM disaster was fixed when I actually got on the phone and talked to these amazing people. So this week's Lash Biz Tip: if there's someone that you need to have an important conversation with, don't use DMs, texts, or emails in a way to engage. Find a time to sit down with them personally or get them on a video call so that both of you can better read each other and show that you care. Have a great week.